center during the that's the press center of the 19th National Congress of the CPC. Yes, that is where we are now today. And it's just 10:09 in the morning, and so today is the third day into the 19th National Congress of CPC. And so we are here at the media center, which is lots of delegates and people from different departments of China will be delivering their work report here. So today there will be 3 work reports here to be delivered. The first one is on 10 a.m. in the morning. Is about the publicity ministry in China, which is dealing with all sorts of things related to media, press, news, publications, and stuff like that. And there's going to be another one. Another one in the afternoon, about 3 p.m. is about the culture sector, and there's another one in the evening about the technology and innovation. So for those of you who just tuned in, and for those of you who just like to watch the news from China, so you've probably heard of the 19th National Congress of the CPC, which is, by far the most significant political event that is taking place here in China. And here we are at the media center, which is the press center of this meeting. There's a majority. We probably saw the opening ceremony where Xi Jinping delivered a keynote speech. That was in the greater hall of people. But here there are lots of press conference that is being released here every day. So since let me just give you a brief view of the surroundings here. This is just a small place. It's a 2-floor building, and you can see lots of journalists coming in from that side, passing the security check. And there's like a working area providing internet for journalists to do some preparations here. And if we can take a look on that side, that is true. On that side, that's the cafeteria. A lot of journalists sitting over there, like doing some preparations for today's coverage. And more people is coming to the second floor because there will be a press conference there on 10 a.m. this morning, which is about media policies, media regulations, and that kind of thing. So since we are journalists ourselves, today's meeting is probably gonna be about media and publication. So my idea, I was thinking of probably can we do something about how the journalists from all different types of media, how they cover this meeting. And I think CGTN is a CGTN used to be a TV station, but now it has expanded to all different types of media forms. So we try to speak to journalists probably from TV stations, from the newspaper, and those from abroad to see how they think of the change of the media landscapes here in China in recent years. Okay, so for those of you who just tuned in, drop us a message on Facebook, on Weibo, or on YouTube or Twitter, because we are all over the place. We are all over different media platforms here. So drop us a message to share it to anybody that might be interested, and I will keep a close eye here just to answer your questions. Okay, so without further ado, let's go upstairs to see how the conference is being prepared. If you follow this one. Okay, we have currently seen some TV reporters carrying tripod. Nowadays media is so we have a lot of different forms of media here. We are doing internet live broadcasting here, which is a relatively new form of media. We definitely have reporters from the newspapers, from TV channels, probably from radio stations, all carrying different equipment. The nature of the jobs are very different. So probably we're gonna see how these people preparing to do their jobs there. Alright, so we are here on the second floor now. That's the place, and we just before, and just let's move in from here. To check the pass. Inside the press conference, so you can see the place is full of journalists now. You know, we can see the cameras being prepared here. So we have our own journalist here as well. His name is John, working for CGTN Digital. He's just over there. So I'm probably gonna try to speak to him to see how it's going to cover this event. Let's go. Hello, how are you?
I'm good.
How are you? Yeah, just sit here. Just sit here. Sure. Yeah. I mean, please be seated. Yeah. Okay. So you're here pretty early today, right?
Yeah, we got here about an hour ago, and the press conference doesn't get underway for what, 45 minutes? And already the room is filling up. It's completely different to yesterday.
Right. Yeah.
We were here for another press conference on anti-corruption. Yesterday, not many people here.
Not many people.
So today
is much more people.
Many people
About the media, right? So speaking of the theme itself, so today's conference is probably gonna be about press policies, media regulations, and stuff like that.
It's going to be about some of that, but also about the cultural industry in general. So about museums, about written publications, but also about TV and film. Whole wide range of things.
Right.
I've actually been going through the briefing notes.
Okay.
And it's quite far-reaching.
It's far-reaching. Yes, it's a lot of information.
Time.
Yeah, and so firstly, I will talk about the matters itself. I mean, since we are journalists ourselves, I mean, I cannot, so I'm trying to get how journalists from all different types of media, how they cover the event. I mean, you are probably as one of the best, international journalists here working for CGTN. So how does it feel that there's a lot of foreign journalists working in Chinese media? It's certainly become a very multicultural type of environment, right?
I think in general there's a lot of foreign journalists working for Chinese state media, which give us, from my perspective, a different view from in the Chinese media sector. It gives maybe a more global outlook, which maybe helps. It maybe makes the content a little bit more varied, different perspectives. I think it's a positive thing. And right here at the 19th CPC National Congress, there were close to 2,000 foreign journalists here, aside from people like myself working for
It's a lot
Chinese.
of people, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, here today you'll see many people from different countries, but at Xi Jinping's speech at the opening session, there was people from all around the world.
Right. Yeah.
The balconies with thousands and thousands of journalists.
So how do you like it so far? How do you feel like covering? You've been here for, this is the third day, right? From Wednesday.
I've been here since Tuesday, and the pre-Congress press conference.
Okay, so it's the fourth day, yeah.
Yeah, fourth day already.
So how? Let me just have a little introduction here. So if you would like to hold the mic yourself, it would be great. And what is your preparations today? So as a digital editor, John Goodrich. Yeah.
At the moment, I actually tend to go for the more old school pen and notepad.
Yeah, pen and notepad. Yes, he's from the UK, so he's prefer the classical style. Let's see his handwritings.
Yeah, you won't be able to read any of that.
Okay, that's John's style. And
then as the press conference goes on, I'll move on to my laptop and start writing a story. So today we're going to do a general story about the press conference, and also I'm going to do kind of takeaways, so the top things to look out for, and top things that have been covered. And hopefully we'll publish that maybe 20 minutes after the press conference ends.
That's fast.
That's the plan.
That's fast, yeah.
And I've also been going through these notes,
right.
And there's something here, Marco, you might be interested in.
Okay.
You're mentioned. You, the Facebook guru, CGTN English account on Facebook.
Now has the largest number of followers among news outlets around the world.
Yeah, so if you're watching
on Facebook... Have a close-up on that, yeah. So if you happen to watch this on Facebook, so yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah,
stay subscribed.
Yeah. One of the more than 50 million?
50 million, just a little more than 50 million,
wow.
Yeah. It's a lot of followers. So John, you've been doing this Reporter's Diary series, a series of this 19th CPC Congress. So tell us about it. I mean, this is sort of like a multimedia type of report. How do you approach that?
Yeah, myself and my colleague Simpson have been doing a daily diary with some video content, some pictures, and some written content, trying to merge different types of media. A little bit like you're doing today with this live stream. I think you're bringing together online media, this live stream, with the TV channel.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So what is your? It is other than any of the. It is different than like traditional type of news writing. How do you approach that?
Well, for this diary, then you're looking not to do a straight news report. You're looking to add some colour to try and bring people to the Congress. So here today, for example, to give people a feel of what it's like to be in the media centre, and also you're looking to give some information. So maybe it's something you wouldn't get in a normal straight news report. Maybe something funny happened. Maybe a little side comment.
Personal touch to it.
Yeah, maybe
personal touch.
And the man on stage.
Because people filming that.
Yeah, now we're being filmed by different people as well.
All right. Okay. These are TV reporters, I assume, because they have larger tripods.
They have huge cameras.
Yeah, they have huge cameras, and they have to arrive early to set up all the equipment. So for you, it's a notebook, and then it's your laptop.
A lot simpler for me.
Yeah.
And indeed for us, although the viewers can't see them, just an iPhone is all we need.
That's true. Yeah, stabilize it.
Yeah.
iPhone, it's very handy.
Very easy.
All right. Okay. All right. So thanks for your time, John. Okay. So I'll give it to you to do your preparation for the rest of the press conference.
I'll see you after the press conference.
Thank you. Yeah. I'll see you there.
Cheers.
See you. Have a good lunch.
Bye-bye.
Okay. So we first spoke to John Goodrich. He's our digital reporter, and we still have a bit of time before the actual press conference takes place. So I'm just searching around, and I happen to see that's Zhou Yun, one of our TV reporters of CGTN over there. She's a reporter of the traditional sense of TV. So let's speak to her to see how it goes. So there's lots of tripods here, a lot of small ladders. A lot of people, it's a different final way here. And stand up point so they can have a spot to film the whole event. All they have like cables. Have these long cables linked to the control here, which is very complicated with traditional technology, and we're only using, Irene is filming me apparently, behind the camera. You probably won't see her, but she's also one of the crew of a new media live stream setup. So. All right, so we have. Doing she's doing something. So. All right. Okay. So let's let 20 seconds. Okay. Oh, sorry. Oh, I accidentally stepped onto some expensive equipment there. So she's doing a live cross for TV now. So if we can watch from this side. So she's doing one like a preview and doing one after the show. So she's gonna be the one who's actually sitting here and asking some questions. So if you guys have any question that you want to ask, so please leave a comment here on our all different social media platforms like Facebook. If you're watching from overseas, And Chinese viewers, probably you're watching this on Weibo, and we're also on YouTube, we're also on Twitter. So there will be lots of new platforms there to come. We can have a look here. So if you look around, that is a very traditional press conference room. Okay, so she's ready. Let's follow this way. All right, let's show you. Working with her cameraman not to step on the line again. Hi.
Sorry for that.
No, that's all right. You're doing the job. I've seen her many times before.
That's not true.
I've said that a million times. We're gonna say that again. You look gorgeous today.
Oh, thank you. I'm flattered, but okay. Hopefully it's true.
Okay. So here's a mic.
Yeah.
I'd like her to hold it. So yeah, I just saw you stand up there doing like on-camera report. What is that?
That was a stand-up. Actually, I'm doing a live in about, what time is it now?
It is.
Okay, in about 10 or 20 minutes. So
okay.
I was kind of rehearsing for what I'm gonna say.
All right. Okay.
In my life before. It's like a preview.
It's like a preview.
It's like a preview.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna do it in like 10 minutes. So yeah.
Yeah, and since today's topic or theme is about media,
right?
It's about publications, it's about publicity. So I've talked to a lot of people from all different media.
Of course you do.
You are a TV reporter, right? We are connected on social media.
Yeah.
On her social media page, she said, be a good TV reporter or something. How does it feel like to be a TV reporter? Just some general knowledge.
Yeah, I think it's an extensive and also rewarding job.
Yeah.
I think maybe you would feel the same way because you've been a reporter for very long as well. So they say like journalism is like the first draft of history. So sometimes the job is very extensive. For instance, I've been getting up at 4 p.m. or this is the fourth day I got up at 4 p.m. So it's very exhausting.
Yeah.
But
it is an exhausting job.
It is, but it's also rewarding because like here you can sit in the front row of the press briefing.
Yeah.
You're actually witnessing the history that is, a moment that's making history. So not only here, it's like a wide range of life of different, you talk to people from all walks of life. So it's interesting because you get to see something that people don't see. Maybe from your normal life, you get to talk to different people. Like today, you talk to a victim from the natural disaster, and tomorrow you talk to one of the world's leading economists. So it's this kind of wide grasp of life that you're being, get in touch with, experiencing, tasting, and also feeling that make this job extraordinary and also extra rewarding.
Yeah, speaking of the difference of all different types of media, if I'm a newspaper reporter, I probably wouldn't.
You work, right? Newspaper? No.
Actually not. Social media. I started as social media, and so you don't have to wake up 4 a.m. in the morning, doing all the makeup and dress up formally,
Yeah, because you don't.
Is it tiring to some point? It is quite amateur to ask, but is it kind of tiring for you if you have to do that every day? Or?
It's kind of part of your life.
All right.
Like if you have an interview, early in the morning, so. Yeah, I don't give extra thoughts on that. It's just
it is part of your life.
Yeah, you get used to it. And now I because you've been doing this job for kind of long, so maybe I don't do the makeup at home. I just do it on my way on the cab.
Yeah, that's the professional stuff. Yeah.
So 10 minutes I can do my job in the cab. So
wow.
So and also
next time do a live stream on how to do it.
I will. I will.
Okay.
That will be more attractive and interesting.
Okay. All right. Okay. So a lot of the features of the TV reporting is this.
Yeah, the camera. This is the smaller one. We also have a
Right.
fascinating. That's my comment.
Just a little, introduction of
9:30.
9:30, yeah.
So it's fine. So you want me to talk about the camera?
So how do you since you came here?
Since I'm not professional on that.
Yeah.
So because as I said, we're gonna do a live. So this is the people connect through camera.
Yeah.
That's how we get the video.
You have to find a good location first, right?
That matters, but that is actually the job that they do like way before.
Oh, okay.
So because they need to set where the cables is laid out. So it's like in a limited area that you can find the spot that you prefer, but yeah, sometimes
it's flexible as well.
Flexible to a certain limit.
Okay.
And because like if you want to do it here, our cable will not be that long.
All right.
And also, this is like the cable which is like very stable and also technically speaking. But sometimes maybe you know that we have the 4G network.
Yeah.
So we use TVU and also other type of equipments to do the live as well. So that makes location more flexible.
Right, but you have to. I mean, the whole point is you have to take a lot of things into consideration before you do it.
A lot. It's not only about the content you say on camera. You have even for that, you have to read tons of stuff. You have to talk to a lot of people to get to the contact you want to say on here for maybe just 2 minutes. But the preparation work can be up to 2 days or 20 days, 200 days. And besides that, as a reporter, you also need to do coordination with everyone because TV is about teamwork, or media is all about teamwork. So
a lot of things to be done. Yeah.
Indeed.
High standard. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll give it to you guys. Just one more question. Since you are going to be covering the event on TV, so stay tuned. Don't go away. So you will see Zoe in there. In about 20 minutes. What kind of questions do you want to try to ask?
Yeah. Well, first I think we can talk about focus. That not maybe it's like a lot of maybe you can turn around. They're like now it's almost fully packed, and there's so many reporters from different media, not only from China and also abroad. Because this year we have a record registration of 1,800 reporters from China's Hong Kong, Macau, Taiwan, and also overseas. So you see a lot of foreign faces here. So I think for us and for them, there are some topics I think that are especially important and interesting. And the first is the new normal of the cultural and also ethical progress, because I think you can learn a lot about economic implications that slower growth but higher quality. But now we're already kind of building this foundation, and now whatever that is building above that, for instance, the spiritual thing, should be making changes accordingly. So now we're talking about the new normal of spiritual and also ethical progress.
Is there a new normal in the media policy?
Hopefully. So they're talking about what kind of new values, new outlets should be embraced in this new normal.
Yeah, since Xi Jinping himself said about the new era.
So a lot of changes are expected to make. That's the first thing. And the second thing is about cyber environment. Because in China, you know how many netizens are there in China?
Wow.
It's a lot. It's 700 million.
700 million.
And that's actually the total, even more than the total population of some countries in Europe. So it's a big number, and sometimes it can be scary. So people are just wondering that how can we improve not only the governance but also the moral integrity of people, netizens, to make the cyber environment more friendly, clean, and transparent. And for me, I think there are two questions that are particularly interesting. The first is we've been talking about the reform of the cultural, administrative system. And we've always put the social benefit as the priority. And it's kind of making a balance between the social benefit and economic benefit. So I'm curious about that. Why is that? And
how to draw about it.
What are we expecting from that? And not only that, China is now the second largest economy in the world and also a major player in many international affairs. But our voice on the stage, China's influence does not match its economic status. So China now is actually making a lot of initiatives to improve soft power, through those kind of initiatives. So we're also curious about what process could be the next
that task is,
as ours. So we're moving shoulder
we should be doing better.
Right. Exactly. So that's what I actually am curious about.
Okay. So thank you very much. Thanks for your time and getting you guys to do preparation.
Thank you.
So thank you very much. Thank you. So we will see her later. Yeah. During the live.
See you. Bye.
So I mean, we have seen, I just spoke to Zhou Yun. She's our CGTN's TV reporter. She's doing preparations for a TV live cross here just in a few minutes. So since again at 10 a.m. we still have a bit of time, something like 10 minutes. So I have a friend, a newspaper, English newspaper. She's also here to cover the meeting. Hello here again. And he's also here to cover the meeting. I'm gonna see him as well to see how a newspaper reporter will cover the event. You might be somewhere. Let me find him. Hello. He's sitting over there. Look at him. He's sitting over there. He's waiting for me. Okay, all right. So hello everyone. Here's our. That is one of my friends from
Hi everyone.
China Daily. Yeah. So you have brought your newspaper.
Yeah.
As well. Okay. All right. So he's traditionally working for a newspaper media. So I mean today's topic is gonna be about media, about the Publicity Department making a press conference. So you're apparently here to cover that, right?
Yes. We are all very looking forward to, as we have seen some major progress happening in the past 5 years.
All right. Okay. Oh my God, he's tall. I have to look at him in the eye like that. I mean, I've spoken to someone working like us for the digital news department, new media department. Someone working for a TV station, and you're working for a newspaper company. So how does it? What is the workflow here?
Well, for workflows of workers for traditional media, like the printed media, things are pretty different in comparison to what happened 5 years ago. You know,
Right.
5 years ago, the word video live streaming was kind of a privilege, you know, for a TV host.
Yeah.
But now, at this National Congress, you know, the first day I was here, you know, almost everyone here from People's Daily, from the newspaper, from state news agencies, and from the website, almost everybody here is embarked on their mission of doing live streaming, introducing the press.
Just like us.
Yeah, it's an era of new media
Have you done any of that? Have you done any of that?
Yes, I made my debut as a host of video live streaming the very first day of the press conference put into operation.
All right. Okay. Well, good luck for you. So, I mean, it might be a stupid question, but I mean, for me, there's a lot of live broadcasts here on the internet. So why bother, dressed up and come to a press conference and writing your story?
Being here, this is the place where all the information gathered, and you can also talk to other like senior officials attending the press conference, also our foreign colleagues. So it is a place that really helps. And also we can sit here and thanks to the evolving technologies, we can handle almost our working in all news outlets that we're working for, not just offline outlets but also online outlets. That's like China Daily has done. We have our WeChat, our Weibo, microblog on Facebook and on Twitter, and also we're helping design our pages.
So there's a big trend, huge trend of media convergence going on.
Yeah, the convergence of various outlets.
So I mean, I actually saw a picture of him covering, I think it was the 2 sessions last year or something?
Yeah.
That you have a GoPro tied up to your head?
Yeah.
Was that true?
Yeah.
Why did you want to try that?
Well, I got that device from one of our bosses. As other media colleagues have tried, we have been trying to use new devices, and as the trend goes on and our practices goes on, and some of the technologies like what would you guys have used the stabilizers and the selfie sticks, and that have really been some really helping gadgets that will really help what is going on in here.
Even for printing media.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Since we still have a bit of time, so do you want to go upstairs to the press conference, or are you gonna sit here?
I'm gonna sit here and finish my work and have another press conference this afternoon.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Thank you for your time, though. Yeah.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for your time. All right.
You're welcome.
So yeah. So here we just spoke to Zhang Yongbi from China Daily. So he's probably here doing some more writing works. And he's doing preparations for another press conference in the afternoon as well. So it is almost 9:30, 9:40 now. So it is still 5 minutes to go, right? We have still 5 minutes to go before the TV signal is gonna be cut in. So this, you see this big red board here, which is a lot of TV media is gonna use this as a backdrop of their live broadcasting. Just by talking to different journalists from all different media outlets, we have people working in the digital department, we have people working for a TV station, and we have someone working for printing media. So I mean, something that they said in common is that there's a big trend of using technology. So even if for the printing media, they are using a lot of the latest developments, the latest gadgets, and for TV production teams, of course they're using like big gears and stuff like that. But they're also using like TVUs, live views, all these portable latest technologies. So once again, we're here at the press conference room, and they have the registration process here. So for those of you who just tuned in, stay tuned for CGTN for our live broadcasting, and we have here on Facebook, on YouTube, on Weibo, and all other online media platforms. But don't go away. We're gonna do live broadcasting of the news conference itself. It is about the media policy, the latest media regulations, the future of the Chinese media in the next 5 years. So all of the key agendas relating to that kind of field will be discussed in this room, which will be starting on 10 a.m. today. So the 19th National Congress of CPC, which is being held every 5 years, is going to be the most key political events here in China. And of course, like I just said, we have interviewed journalists from all different types of media. And so as since we still got a bit of time, let's talk something about ourselves. We're digital reporters. We try to use all the latest technologies, and we have to try to introducing all different programs based on picture, text, all these multimedia elements. So we've been creating like different programs, like 1.3 billion. We're creating Ask China series. So that is all based on the nature of the internet, which is interaction. I'm doing a live stream here, so you can see me, you can talk to me, you can send us a message, so we can interact. So that's the beauty of it. That's the nature of our job. We have, if you really have any questions, for China in general, or for Chinese policy making procedures, and all sorts of that, you can share us a question. You can stay tuned. You can, share CGTN. Yes, our name is CGTN China Global Television Network. Tell it to your friends. We have 550 million followers on the Facebook page. That's currently the largest for the media outlets. And stay tuned. We have the press conference, which will be held very shortly, right? So without further ado, let me step inside to join them to see how they cover the event. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching.
The Press Centre will host the second press conference later this morning to brief on the promotion of ethical and cultural progress and take questions from journalists. A spokesperson for the Congress, as well as other major leaders from culture and publicity related departments, will attend the press conference. At the same time, a big cultural event, Wucheng Theatre Festival, is being held in East China's Zhejiang province. And later, we will go live to my colleague Julian Wagon in the studio over there. Well, for more, let's speak now to our reporter Zhou Yuan, who is in Beijing for us. Hello to you, Zhou Yuan.
So, hello there, Jeff.
Hello. What can we expect from this conference? And have you prepared a question to ask?
Well, for sure, for reporters, it's always important to get a lot of questions ready during the press conference. But before that, let me give you a heads up about what are some of the topics that are particularly interesting. The first, I think, is the new normal of China's promotion of the cultural and also ethical progress. Because as we know that now we've been talking about the new normal of economic development. I think you've been in China for long, so must heard a lot about that. Well, this new normal of economic development refers to a lower speed yet with higher quality. So now, because now we're building this foundation, with new normal, and everything that built above that foundation should make some changes accordingly. So there's heated discussion about what kind of new elements, new values should be embraced in this new normal of the spiritual and as well as the ethical progress. That's the first thing. The second, I think there's so many people now paying attention to the cyber security and cyber environment in China, because now in China there are 700 million netizens, and this number is big. Sometimes it can be scary because this number is actually bigger than the total population of the total population of a country in Europe. So now people are just wondering that how can not only the governor's side, how can we improve the moral integrity of the netizens to make our cyber environment friendly and also more transparent, clean and open. That's the second thing. And for me, I think the questions that I want to ask are particularly on two fronts. The first is because now in recent years, China has been making great efforts in promoting the reforms on the cultural administrative system. And when we talk about the system, the reforms on that, it's all about putting the priorities, giving the priorities to the social benefit. But now there are also talks about how can we make a balance between the social benefit as well as the economic benefit. So I think if I were given the chance to ask the question, that will be the number one question. I want to know about the thoughts, the considerations behind such a move. Last but not least, as we know, China now is the second largest economy in the world and also one of the leading players in international affairs. However, its voice, its impact on the international arena doesn't match this economic status. And China has been launched a series of initiatives to enhance its international impact. For instance, the launch of CGTN can be seen as one of that move. And now we want to know that what's coming next and what are we expecting on that front. So these are the questions now I think we're on in hand. And since we're now about 10 minutes away from the start of the Congress, and I'd better get back to the studio and go back to my seat and get ready for the questions. Back to you in the studio, Jeff.
You had indeed. I hope that you managed to ask your question. Good luck.
Thank you.
Now, in the report he delivered at the CPC's National Congress on Wednesday, the party General Secretary, Xi Jinping, said culture is a country's soul. He spent quite a lot of time in the report talking about how to develop not only traditional culture, but also that of modern life, saying the nation will be strong only if its culture is strong.
Without full confidence in our culture, without a rich and prosperous culture, the Chinese nation would not be able to rejuvenate itself. We must develop a socialist culture with Chinese characteristics, inspire the cultural creativity of our whole nation, and develop a great socialist culture in China.
Well, for more on China's cultural development, let's talk to Heng Min, Associate Professor from the School of Journalism and Communication of Tsinghua University. Thank you very much indeed for coming in to join me this morning. So China has made magnificent achievements in a lot of areas, the economy, technology, innovation. But when it comes to the cultural arena, not quite so impressive, is it?
Yes, as we just heard, that China is definitely the second largest economy in the world. So people in the world are amazed about the economic development, the achievement Chinese people has achieved during the past years. But culture-wise, when we come to look at the culture impact, culture influence for the Chinese people in the international arena, so it's pretty weak. I mean, comparing with the very rapid progress economic-wise.
Why do you think that is? Do you think China has been so busy forging ahead with its economic revolution?
I think there are a lot of reasons. There could be ethical concerns. There could be also ideological consideration for explaining that. But still, we know that China is developing. So, as President Xi Jinping said in his report, that for the next stage of development, the mission of the CPC is to develop the country in all aspects. So, culturally development, and from culture-wise, to have more content strength to enhance our influence in the international arena. Definitely will be the major goal for the development in the next stage.
Now, Xi Jinping has called for more efforts to build China's cultural confidence, and he said he wanted to help socialist culture to flourish. What does he mean by socialist culture, do you think?
Yeah, so he also emphasized that what we are building nowadays is a socialist country with Chinese characteristics. So I think the socialist culture can be also a country with socialism and also with Chinese characteristics, which means that we should emphasize our own features, our own strengths, while also knowing about our weakness. And we can be more open to all the praise and also criticisms coming from different aspects. We know what we are and we know what we are achieving.
He also put forward the idea of cultural innovation. What's your take on that? What does he mean by cultural innovation?
I think cultural innovation, we can understand that from different aspects. Content-wise, the cultural innovation could be that we can have more diverse culture elements. So we can have more culture services and goods provided. And also industry-wise, the cultural innovation could be that we have more innovation. We can have more business development industry-wise. So we can have more promotion. We can have more development for different kind of the culture industries in the sector.
Okay, for now, Hung Min, thank you very much indeed. You're going to stay around for most of the morning to talk to me as we approach the conference, but let's go back to Xi Jinping's report to the CPC's National Congress on Wednesday, where he stressed that socialist culture should embrace modernization, the world and the future.
We should ensure that this culture serves the people and serves socialism. We shall follow the principle of letting 100 flowers bloom and 100 schools of thought content, and encourage creative transformation and development, so as to add new luster to Chinese culture.
Professor Hung, what do you think we're going to get in this speech today, in this press conference today? What are we likely to hear, do you think?
I think also similar to what our journalist said before, that President Xi Jinping has mentioned many times in his report he delivered the other day, that we should build what he called as a culturally advanced country. So what I would expect to hear from today is how can we take that into action, because this is a press conference that will be jointly given by the Ministry of Culture and the Department of Publicity of CPC, and also the Ministry, the State Administration for Radio, Press, Publication. So those are the departments concerned for the culture development.
Now, the cultural industry has been referred to as the pillar of the national economy. What does that mean? What's the relationship between culture and the economy?
culture is a core, as you said. The culture could be the soul of the nation. And culture is what you know, where you are, who you are. So I think to get clear for your goal for the economic development, you should definitely know at first who you are, what you want to achieve.
I mean, one thing, I've been in China a year now, and the one thing I can say is that I think that the Chinese people have a very strong sense of who they are, where they've come from, and where they're going. Would you agree with that?
Yes, but on the other hand, with the very fast, rapid economic development, there are a lot of things changed. So we usually call this the era full of dynamics, uncertainty, right? So during such a process of transformation, of course, we needed to have a lot of the culture, construction culture-wise, in order to match with the development of economic.
Let's look at other countries around the world. Other countries are also doing a great job when it comes to developing their cultures, aren't they?
Yeah. So we can see many of what we call as culturally strong nations around us.
Why do you think it's so important?
It's important, for example, American, of course, so we usually understood the US as a culturally strong state, and the UK as well, because we usually, UK is regarded as one of the nations with the fastest development for the culture industries, providing a lot of the culture products. Because those culture products, they have very special features, like a movie, like a drama, like the other culture services and products. They can send people messages that can have very important impact in their spirit, on their behavior, and things like that. So I would say that countries like nations like US and UK, you may have your language advantages. This is why it's more easier for these countries to export their cultural products. And for China, that could be much more harder. Even nowadays, we have built a lot of Confucius schools around the world to promote, encourage people to learn Chinese, but still it's harder for people to understand the language. So language-wise, it's a barrier for us to export a lot of our cultural products abroad. But still, as China is playing more and more important role in the political arena, in economic arena nowadays, so there is a possibility, there is a rising possibility for the country to build a much more stronger culture image.
You mentioned the UK there. That's a country that developed very slowly and gradually over the years, the decades, the centuries, whereas China's development was almost instant, wasn't it, in the space of 30, 40 years?
Yes.
So do you feel that China hasn't had the chance to develop its culture in the same way that some other countries have?
This is why President Xi Jinping also called there is a significant or historic shift. He highlighted in his report that China has shifted the style or modern of development from the fast growth to have more emphasis on the high quality. So the quality development would be the emphasis for the next stage of development. So for my understanding, that emphasis on quality, which means that we should not only pay more attention to the economic development, but all the other aspects, as what we have mentioned, the culture aspect would also one of the core that we will have more focus to put forward.
How important do you think it is to remember the past? Because China, it may have developed very, very rapidly in the last few years, but it does have a longer history than any other country in the world.
Definitely. China has a long history. We usually say China has at least 5,000 years history. Then we have a lot of ancient stories and amazed Chinese stories. So nowadays, what is more important is to tell good stories. Let our stories to be known by the people around the world.
Is that what it is? It's about getting the message across to people around the world? Or is it about getting the message across to people within China, to the Chinese themselves?
I would say both ways. So first we need to let Chinese people understand more deeply our own culture. So this is education-wise what we need to make efforts. Like me as educator, this is what we needed to work on that, and also we need to have good story. Let people outside China know about our culture, know about our social reality, economic development, and the sophistication of the society.
Someone like Confucius is still incredibly important to Chinese people today, isn't he?
Yes.
In what way? What do you think it is about him and his teachings that have stayed with the Chinese people and become part of their psyche?
I think he's Confucius. He's respected as...
I'm terribly sorry, we're going to have to interrupt you because we're going to go straight to the press conference live, but we will come back to that point.
Okay.
Here is the press conference now.
Friends from the press, good morning.
We'll come back to that
Welcome
Confucius point.
to the second press conference hosted by the Press Center. Today we are pleased to have with us Vice Minister Sun Zhijun of the Publicity Department of the CPC Central Committee, Deputy Minister Xia Weidong of the Office of the National Steering Committee for Ethical and Cultural Progress, Vice Minister Xiang Zhaolun of the Ministry of Culture, and Vice Minister of the State Administration of Press, Publication, Radio, Film and Television. They will brief you on China's progress on theoretical, ethical and cultural fronts, and they will also take your questions. So first we'll have opening remarks from Vice Minister Sun. Friends from the press, good morning. The report delivered by General Secretary Xi Jinping at the 19th Party Congress marks a new era in socialism with Chinese characteristics. It outlines the new historical missions, basic policy and goals for the new era. It inspires us with the bright prospects of socialist cultural prosperity and gives us a clearer sense of mission and responsibility. Over the past 5 years since the 18th Party Congress, the CPC Central Committee, with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, has attached great importance to raising public awareness and to theoretical and cultural work. General Secretary Xi presided over a host of important meetings on work related to literature and art, media, the internet and information, philosophy and social sciences. He has also made important remarks on these topics. He personally offered guidance and gave instructions. The unprecedented commitment and solid measures adopted have resulted in new breakthroughs and historic progress. New ground has been broken in advancing party-related theories. The penetration, guidance, influence, and credibility of the media have been significantly strengthened. Core socialist values have been incorporated into laws and regulations. Literary and artistic creation is thriving, scaling new heights from a plateau to a summit, so to speak, and China's cultural soft power has grown much stronger. All this has contributed to the historical changes in the party and the nation's endeavors. With regard to cultural development, we want to make the cultural reform more systematic, comprehensive, and coordinated, with a special focus on institutional explorations. We have put in place a main framework that underpins reforms in the cultural sector. First, we have an innovative approach to cultural development. General Secretary Xi Jinping has observed that cultural confidence is a fundamental and profound force that sustains the development of a country and a nation. He has underscored the need to put social benefits first while pursuing economic returns, to put people first in literary and artistic creation, to promote the creative evolution and development of fine traditional Chinese culture, to undertake new cultural missions and develop a great socialist culture. General Secretary Xi has also stressed the importance to enhance the international appeal of the Chinese culture and tell China's stories well. No matter how the reform will be conducted, we must never lose our direction or advantages. These remarks reflect the party's strategic thinking and sound grasp of the law governing the development of socialist culture with Chinese characteristics. Second, we have made major breakthroughs in the reform of cultural institutions and mechanisms. We have drawn up some policies and documents on social and economic benefits, integrated development of media, high-level think tanks, reform on literature and art awards, and development of traditional opera, film, and television, totaling 71. We have improved the systems of domestic and international publicity and internet administration. We have developed a state-owned cultural asset administration system, worked on a modern corporate system with cultural features, and launched some major trial programs for deepening cultural reform. All these efforts have underpinned our socialist cultural system with Chinese characteristics. Third, we have made major progress in cultural programs and industries. We have introduced legislation to establish the government's responsibility to protect the people's basic cultural rights, and we have spelled out measures in detail. We have developed a framework to ensure equal access to standardized public cultural services. By following a new vision of development in advancing the supply-side structural reform, we have maintained strong momentum in the development of cultural industries. This is evidenced by growing value added of the cultural industries, which is 3.08 trillion yuan, or 4.14% of China's GDP last year. China now leads the world in the numbers of books published, TV series produced and broadcasted, and the numbers of cinema screens. China has one of the largest film markets in the world. Many fine Chinese cultural products have been warmly acclaimed. And in cultural exchanges and trade, we have also made significant progress. There is growing recognition for Chinese brands, voice, and image. Fourth, we have scored major achievements in cultural policy making and legislation. In less than 5 years, the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress has made 4 pieces of legislation, respectively on cybersecurity, on development of the film industry, on public cultural services, and on the national anthem. It has also enacted a decision on strengthening the protection of online information. In addition, it has drawn up or amended a great number of administrative or sector-wise regulations, which have proved effective. To conclude, under the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee, with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, we have seen a thriving cultural industry and programs.
The diversifying cultural needs of our people are being met to a greater extent. Our the Chinese culture is gaining growing profile in the world, and our cultural confidence is given a strong boost. We are convinced that with the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee, with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, and with the guidance of the 19th Party Congress, the party's theoretical and cultural development will make new progress and contribute to our pursuit of the 2 centenary goals and the Chinese dream of great national rejuvenation. Thank you.
Now I would like to give the floor to Mr. Xia Weidong. Good morning. It's my pleasure to make a briefing here and let you know about the progress we have made in intellectual, moral, cultural, and ethical progress. You may have noted that there is a statement about the fundamentals of China's development since the 18th CPC National Congress. It is historic changes have taken place and historic achievements have been made. I believe this statement fully applies to the intellectual, moral, cultural, and ethical development. Never in the modern times has China been as close as to the dream of national rejuvenation as we are today. This is the greatest dream of the Chinese nation since modern times. The CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping as the core has followed people's expectations and stated clearly that we need to secure the victory of building a moderately prosperous society in all respects and achieve the 2 centenary goals and the Chinese dream of great national rejuvenation. To realize the goals and the dream, we have put forward the 5-sphere integration plan, the 4-pronged comprehensive strategy, a new vision for development, socialist core values, and other new ideas, new thinking, and new strategies on state governance. These reflect the fundamental interests of the Chinese nation and concern the immediate interests of every Chinese. To realize these great goals and the great dream and complete strategic deployment, we need to ensure all the Chinese people embrace the shared ideas, convictions, values, and moral standards, and work together with the same will. I'm sure you have noted it has been pointed out in the report of the 19th CPC Central Committee about the thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era. General Secretary Xi Jinping's thought in this field is the latest outcome of theoretical innovation of our party, reflects the underlying understanding for building socialism with Chinese characteristics, and brings to light our fundamental policy so that the great goals and great dream must and will be able to come true. Since the 18th CPC National Congress, we have put people together with these theories and practices and cemented the philosophical and moral foundation for the people to work together. And this is the theme of intellectual, moral, ethical, and cultural progress of the past 5 years. First, we have comprehensively carried out research, education, and publicity of new theories to help people know better about this strong theoretical weapon and to guide the practice of realizing the great goals and the great dream. We have comprehensively carried out publicity and education of socialism with Chinese characteristics, the Chinese dream and socialist core values, and made it very clear that socialism with Chinese characteristics is a fundamental achievement we have made after arduous efforts made and huge prices paid, and should therefore be all the more cherished. We have made it very clear that the Chinese dream is about the country, the nation, and each individual. Everyone has the historic opportunity to realize his or her dream. We have made it very clear that socialist core values are the biggest common ground, supported by values for achieving the great goals and the great dream, and embody the pursuits of the country, the society, and individuals. Second, we have strengthened and innovated in the work of making intellectual, cultural, and ethical progress. We have followed the examples of role models and paragons, promoted ethical and cultural progress around us in cities, villages, organizations, households, and campuses. We have made integrity building and volunteer services more institutionalized, so as to raise people's political awareness and moral standards, foster appreciation of fine culture, and enhance social etiquette and civility. Looking back to the past 5 years, we have keenly felt that the whole party and society have developed stronger unity in thinking, fostered new consensus in thinking and morality, and taken on a new look. And this is the strongest voice in our society and in our country to strive for the great goals and the great dream. This is my briefing. Thank you.
Next, Vice Minister Xiang, please. Friends from the press, good morning. It gives me great pleasure to have this opportunity to brief you on what we have done on the cultural front. At his report to the 19th Party Congress, General Secretary Xi has made remarks on cultural prosperity, and he has given instructions to the cultural development. He said that to meet the new expectations of our people for cultural development, we need to provide them with richer choices. This is a basic guidance for our cultural work. So I will talk about 3 aspects of our work. First, about literary and art creation. Since the 18th Party Congress, we've been following the spirit of General Secretary Xi's important remarks, and we have launched some programs, including projects to support stage art, to revive local opera, Chinese national opera, and fine arts, to encourage creation with fine literary and artistic products that have moral appeal. We have organized some field trips to acquaint the writers and artists with the life of the general public. In 2016 alone, 100,000 people participated in such field trips. In 2015 and 2016, nearly 2,900 original plays or operas were premiered. I think you can feel keenly that we have a thriving performance market in the recent years. Well, in order to benefit our people with the fruits of the thriving cultural development, we have also organized some special festivals, like a China Art Festival and art festivals for Peking Opera, Kunqi Opera. And we have organized performances for dance acrobatics, and we have organized altogether 14,000 such performances. Between 2013 and 2016, nearly 1 billion people watched art performances every year. So this is the first point I want to make about artistic creation. And second, on public cultural services. In the last couple of years, we have shifted our focus to the coverage of primary level communities by a modern public cultural service system. At the end of last year, above the county level, there were 3,153 public libraries, 4,109 museums and memorial halls, 3,322 cultural centers, and 41,175 cultural centers at the township or community level. There were cultural centers in 2/3 of our villages and cultural facilities in all of our communities. We have put in place a 6-tiered network of public cultural facilities covering the national, provincial, municipal, county, township, and village or community levels. Between 2013 and 2016, public libraries across the country received nearly 2.3 billion visits, and our museums received nearly 3 billion visitors. To strengthen weak links, we have also launched some campaigns in poverty-stricken areas to extend cultural services to counties and villages in poor areas. We have also launched programs on mobile cultural services and procurement of equipment for village cultural centers. The third point I want to make is about the protection of cultural heritage. President Xi said that to promote creative evolution and development of Chinese culture is very important. So we take this as a guiding principle for our work. In recent years, we have further stepped up protection of cultural relics, especially for the Great Wall, the Great Canal, and some historical sites. We have also run some good exhibitions and provided a great variety of cultural products. The protection of intangible heritage is our priority, and we have followed a principle to ensure that there are inheritors for the intangible heritage. And we focus on the capacity building of the inheritance of such heritage. On the basis of a massive census and registration of intangible resources, we have also compiled records of such heritage, and we have carried out some schemes to raise the subsidies for inheritors of intangible heritage from 10,000 yuan per year to 20,000 yuan. We have partnered with the Ministry of Education in programs to train the inheritors of intangible heritage. And now we have 78 universities and colleges involved in this scheme. And we will train 100,000 people in this scheme. We have also worked with other government agencies on a program to revive traditional Chinese crafts, to promote their extensive application in our lives. The goal in reviving the traditional crafts is to promote their extensive application in modern life. We have also started thinking about a whole range of policy measures for other intangible heritage, like oral tradition and performing arts. Our goal is to have in place some generic and specific policies for all kinds of intangible heritage. We will further study and act on the spirit of the 19th Party Congress, we will strengthen cultural confidence and contribute our part to socialist cultural prosperity. Thank you.
Now I'd like to give the floor to Mr. Zhang Hongsen. Friends from the media, good morning. As the CPC's 19th National Congress successfully convened, it's my great pleasure to have the opportunity to gather with you and talk to you on the reform and development of the industries of press, publication, radio, film, and television. General Secretary Xi Jinping has summarized the important achievements made in our industries in the report to the 19th CPC National Congress. We have been greatly encouraged by his report. Since the 18th CPC National Congress, the whole industries have followed the arrangements of General Secretary Xi Jinping, focused on priorities, accelerated development, deepened reform, and served the overall interests. The industries of press, publication, radio, film, and television have been thriving as a result, with their scale expanded and the capability to serve the overall development greatly improved. Our country has been moving forward from a major country to a strong one in this field. In particular, we have formed 4 systems. First, we have formed a modern media system with strong power of communication and influence. Now, we have 584 book publishers in China, 1,894 newspaper publishers, and 10,084 journal publishers. We have altogether China National Radio, China Radio International, and China Central Television, and other 2,575 radio and TV broadcasters. A number of new convergence media have also emerged. Since the CGTN was put to air at the end of 2016, a whole media operation framework that includes 6 TV channels, 3 overseas stations, and 1 new media cluster that covers multiple languages, channels, and terminals has been gradually established. The CCTV has further expanded the coverage of its global network, covering 97% of major global incidents in 2016. Second, we have formed a vast system of content production. Last year, almost 500,000 books were published, 7.71 million hours of radio programs were produced, and 3.52 million hours of TV programs were made. 772 feature films were produced, 334 domestic TV series, with altogether 14,912 episodes were shot. Almost 120,000 minutes of animated cartoons were made, and over 10,000 hours of TV documentaries were produced. China ranked first in terms of the number of books published, output of TV series and animated cartoons, as well as feature films. And we have produced a number of fine works that reflect values of contemporary China and fine Chinese culture. A primer on General Secretary Xi Jinping's important speeches, 2016 edition, and Xi Jinping telling stories have been welcomed by readers. Films including The Founding of an Army and Wolf Warriors 2 have greatly boosted the underlying values of our country, with the box office of Wolf Warriors 2 exceeding 5.6 billion yuan. TV series including Ordinary World and Feathers Fly have been well rated by the audience. TV programs related to culture and public welfare, such as China Poetry Competition, The Reader, and Voice, have been big highlights. Third, we have established an extensive modern system of transmission, distribution, and coverage. We have the world's largest TV and radio transmission and coverage network that uses multiple technical means, including cable TV, terrestrial TV, and satellite TV. 98.37% of the population have been covered with radio and 98.88% with television. China has a total of 49,000 cinema screens, ranking atop in the world. In 2016, cinema admissions reached 1.372 billion in cities, and the figure has been growing this year. There are altogether 163,000 publishers around the country. Fourth, we have fostered a well-structured industrial system. There are 126 groups dealing in book publishing, newspaper publishing, distributing, and printing. There are over 2,000 film-producing companies, 14,389 radio and TV producing organizations, and 69 publicly listed companies in press publication, radio, film, and television. In 2016, the turnover of press, publication, printing, and distributing services was 2.36 trillion yuan, up by 42.17% from the 1.66 trillion yuan in 2012. The total revenue of radio and television services was 503.977 billion yuan, up by 54.19% from the 326.846 billion yuan in 2012. The film ticket sales was 49.283 billion yuan, up by 188% from 2012. The industries of press, publication, radio, and film and television have had greater strength and competitiveness and been making greater contribution to the national economy. For the next step, we'll be making new creation and development, raise our awareness to serve the overall interests of the people and our capability to do that, and we will make our industries more influential and creative so as to contribute to the victory of building a moderately prosperous society and meet people's expectations for a better life. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we open the floor for questions. Please identify your media affiliation before raising your questions.
CGTN 谢谢您好，我是中国国际电视台 CGTN 的记者。那我们发现呢，近几年中国的文化体制改革是始终把社会效益放在了首位，社会效益和经济效益相统一。那这一需求呢，或者要求也是在19大报告中再次的明确。所以我们想了解一下相关的考虑以及是相关的情况。谢谢。
With CGTV. In recent years, in the reform of cultural institutions, it has been emphasized that efforts must be made to produce both social and economic benefits, with priority given to social benefits. This is also reiterated in the report of the 19th National Congress. Could you elaborate on that? Thank you.
大家知道，在社会主义市场经济条件下。
Well, in a socialist market economy, culture has the twin functions for both educational and recreational functions. So as a result, cultural products and services have both ideological and commercial dimensions. So we cannot focus solely on market share, ratings, box office, revenue, and so on. We should not enslave ourselves to the market or be dominated by the market influence. So how to ensure that our cultural enterprises always pursue social benefits first, while also pursuing economic benefits. Well, this is a major challenge that we need to address as we deepen cultural reform. As we advance cultural reform, we focus on the establishment of institutions that can combine the two benefits. This is an important element in our design of the reform and also an important criterion for evaluation of the results of the reform. To do that, we need to first strengthen top-level design. We have central documents giving guiding opinions on how to combine the social and economic benefits of cultural reform. Well, this is of fundamental and overarching importance for our cultural reform. And second, we aim to set up a modern corporate system with cultural features. To be specific, we encourage our cultural enterprises to follow the laws and regulations, to establish at the levels of their business philosophy, governance structure, and performance evaluation, the ways of asset management that can reflect their identity as cultural enterprises and meet the requirement for modern companies. Third, we will improve the system for cultural administration. Well, it combines the administration and regulation for both personnel, powers, and for both assets and orientation. We will spell out some methods in detail on how to evaluate social benefits. We'll give an over 50% weight to the evaluation of social benefits for state-owned cultural enterprises. And at the same time, we will try to establish the right order in cultural market and create enabling external environment to combine the two benefits. Fourth, we will have culture-related economic policies, including mechanisms for guidance, incentives, and compensation, so that the cultural enterprises can focus on social benefits and social values in a competitive market. They will have no burdens, and they will always have something to fall back on. In this way, they can grow more competitive and competent in market competition, so that these cultural enterprises will grow even better.
第五排哪位 ？OK， 对，那个非洲媒体吧，后面一排那个非洲的媒体，对。
Thank you very much. My name's Dora Shea. I work with the Cameroon Radio Television Corporation. My question goes to Mr. Zhang Hongxi, Vice Minister. You talked a few minutes ago about China making great strides to becoming a powerful nation in the publication, radio and film, as well as the television sector. I just want to know from you the measures that you have put in place to make sure that this dream comes true. Thank you.
非常感谢，我是喀麦隆国家电台的记者。我的问题是提给张宏森副部长的。您刚才提到，中国正在从新闻出版、广播、影视的大国向强国稳步迈进。我想问的是，在这方面，中国采取了什么样的措施，以达到这样的目标？谢谢。
近年来，我们按照党中央、国务院的总体部署，扎实推进改革发展。新闻出版、广播、影视大国向强国迈进，已经具有了坚实的思想、物质和技术的基础。在工作当中我们重点在3个方面主要发力。第一是抓改革。 释放
we have
发展活力。
concentrated on reform to unleash
我
the
们深
vitality
化
for development.
深化供给侧结构性的改革，
We have deepened
进
the
一步的
supply side
优
structural
化产业
reform
结构，
to improve
发
the
展质量
industrial
和效益
structure,
进一步提升。
and quality and efficiency of
一大批
development
现代
have been greatly
新闻
strengthened.
出版
A
广电
number
企业
of
培育和成长起来。
publication and media groups thrived
我们深化放管
in this
扶持改革，
process. We have deepened
18大
process
以
to
来
delegate power, streamline
总局
administration, and
取
improve
消和下放了
services.
22项行政审批事项。
Since the 18th
取消了
National Congress, our administration
13项
has abolished and
由
delegated
地方实施
22 items subject to
行政审批
administrative
事项
approval
和全部
and
的
abolished
非行政
13 items
审批事项
subject to administrative approval
中介服务
previously
事项
done by local governments as
各类
instructed
市场
by
主体
central government,
得到
as
了
well as
进一
all
步
the
实
non-administrative approval items and
第
intermediary
二项工作
services.
是抓融合，
Therefore, the vitality of all
推动
market entities
转型
has
升
been
级。
unleashed. Second, we have focused
我
on
们加
convergence
快
to
传统媒
promote
体
transformation
与
and
新兴媒
upgrading.
体的深度融合，
We have deepened
一
the
体
deep
发展，
convergence
打造新型
and
的
integrated
现代
development of traditional and new media to build new type
我们中央三
of
台
mainstream media
和
in
北
the
京、
contemporary
上
era.
海、浙江、
CCTV3 and
湖南
provincial TV stations
等
of
省
Beijing,
台
Shanghai, Jiangsu, Zhejiang,
在
and
媒
Hunan
体融合平台建
have
设上
achieved a good progress in the
积极的成
development
效
of media convergence
进一步
platforms,
增强了媒体的传
which
播
has
力、
further strengthened
号召
the
力、
effectiveness
影
of
响力、
communication,
公
the
信力。
power of guidance, credibility, and
我们央
influence.
视网多终端全媒体覆盖的用户
The multiple
已经
terminals
超过
of
了10亿。
CCTV now have a
我
total
们还积
of
极打
1
造
billion users
智慧
across
广
the
电战
world.
略和新闻出版的
We have also implemented the strategy
转型
of
的
smart
升级
radio,
行
film, and television,
努
and
力培
launched a
育
campaign
新
to
动能
promote digital
新媒体
transformation and upgrading of press
在
and
新闻出版
publication,
广电领域啊，
so as to accelerate the
新业态、
development
新业务
of new businesses and
已
foster
经
new
成为
driving forces
新
and
的
development
强
engines.
劲的增长点。
Now, the new businesses
我举
and
一个例
business
子
forms have become strong
我
growth
们
areas.
数字出版
For example,
在2016年的营业收入
in
已经
2016,
突破了
the turnover of
5700亿，
digital publishing reached
连续几年实现了20%。
570 billion yuan, registering a 20% increase year on year. Third, we have aimed at producing fine works to scale new cultural and artistic heights. We have made great efforts to encourage original works and reward
我
fine
们长
works,
期的动态的
and
在电影、电视
in
剧、
film,
动
TV
画片、
series, animated
纪录片、
cartoons,
网
documentaries,
络内容产品
online
5个领域
content programs.
实施了5个100部重点作
We
品
have
的
launched
规划。
the plans for introducing
通过
5
规划的实施
100-step program.
提前
Through such
策
a
划选
program
题
and project,
配置资源
we
提
have
供政策扶持
provided
保
policy
证
guidance
重点
for
作品
the
成为
distribution of
优秀作品
resources so that key
这些年
programs
以来
will
啊
become fine
我
works.
们的电影、电视剧、我们的网络文学、网络视听作品、我们的书报
As a
刊
result,
等
a
等，
number of
都出现了一
high-quality
批
books,
深受观众
newspapers,
和
films,
市场
TV
欢迎的
series,
优秀
as
作
well
品。
as online video and audio
我们的一
programs
些
and literary
优秀的
works
作品
have
不
emerged.
仅在国内叫得响，
Some
传得
of the
开，
books and films
在
and
世
TV
界上
programs
也开
are
始
not
建立
only
品牌，
popular in
赢得了
China,
市场份额。
but also present China's name in the
党
world
的10大
market.
报告啊对宣传思想
In
文化
the
工作
report
进行
to
了
the
全面
19th
部署。
CPC
我们要坚
National
定
Congress,
文化自信，
overall
推
deployment
动
has been
社会
made
主义文
in
化
the
的繁
cultural
荣
and
兴盛。
artistic work.
我
We
们
need
要
to work
加快
hard
推进
to promote
新闻
cultural
出
and
版
artistic
由大国向
prosperity
强国迈
and
进的这样的一个工
strive
程建
even
设，
further to
为
make
社
China
会主义文化的
move
繁荣
from a
兴盛
major country
做出
to a
新
strong
闻
country in
出
this
版
field
广
and
电的
contribute our
积
due
极贡
share
献。
to
谢谢。
this cause. Thank you.
好，咱们继续提问。行，对，那个第4排那位女士吧。是的，你的左手看左手，
谢谢主持人，我是人民日报记者。党的18大以来，中国特色社会主义事业不断发展。我想请问，思想理论指导在其中发挥了怎样的作用？谢谢。
With People's Daily, since the 18th National Congress of the party, the cause of socialism with Chinese characteristics has achieved continuous progress. My question is, how important is the guidance of thoughts and theories in this process? Thank you.
You have raised a very good and very important question. The Communist Party of China has a fine tradition and a big advantage. That is, to guide practices with theories that advance with the times. Therefore, for every step made in practice, there comes with a step forward in theoretical innovation and development. A landmark achievement in theoretical innovation since the 18th CPC National Congress is that General Secretary Xi Jinping's thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era has been established. Over the past 5 years, the reason why the cause of the party and the country has been making historic achievements and experiencing historic changes is the scientific guidance of new theories. Xi Jinping's thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era has been fully expounded in the report to the 19th CPC National Congress, and I would like to share with you my understanding and reflection in this aspect. I believe his thought reflects his incisive grasp of the features of time, historical trends, and realities. The real insight into the laws that underline the development of socialism with Chinese characteristics, the in-depth understanding of the fundamental interests of the Chinese people, and proficient application of the methodology on state governance is the latest outcome of applying Marxism to Chinese context, an important component of the theoretical system of socialism with Chinese characteristics, and the most important intellectual weapon to guide our party to carry out the great cause, build the great project, advance the great cause, and realize the great dream. Over the past 5 years, the core task for intellectual and theoretical development is to equip the whole party, encourage the people, and guide practice with the scientific theories. We have done a lot to promote this important task, and I would like to give you 2 examples. For example, to provide standard reading materials for officials and people, we have compiled and published Xi Jinping, The Governance of China, and a primer of General Secretary Xi Jinping's important speeches. These books have been warmly welcomed by the people, home and abroad, as they have satisfied the people's needs to study and apply new theories and helped promote unity in thinking and build consensus. Another example, we have made theoretical study more institutionalized and deepened theoretical research to enhance the popular appeal of theories to the primary level people. We can say it very proudly that new theories have taken deep root in the hearts of both senior officials and ordinary people and become a strong source of material and intellectual strength. Thank you.
好，咱们继续提问。行，第4排那位女士吧。对，是不是？那位女士是第4排，对，举手。好，3排，对不起啊。
谢谢主持人。我是中央人民广播电台和央广网的记者，有问题向项部长提问。您刚才在介绍中提到，近年来我国在公共文化服务领域持续加大了投入。您也介绍到公共文化服务的基础网络基本建成，而我国的公共文化服务保障法也提出了要实现城乡公共文化服务的均等化。但是我们在采访中却发现， 在中西部地区和一些农村居民吧，能够享受到这种文化的服务的还比较少，而且一些这种文化设施维护的也不是特别的好。想请您介绍一下，在未来解决短板，实现这个突破最后的1公里这方面，我们的文化部门有什么新的药方？谢谢。
With China National Radio, my question is for Vice Minister Xiang Zhaolun. You mentioned that in recent years there has been more input into the development of public cultural services, and the network of public cultural services have been put into place. And also the law on guaranteeing public cultural services says that equal access to basic public cultural services shall be promoted in both rural and urban areas. However, we have found that in central and western regions and rural areas of China, public cultural services are quite limited, and some cultural facilities are not well maintained. What plans does the Ministry of Culture have to strengthen the weak points and remove the remaining obstacles to deliver services to more people? Thank you.
非常感谢您提了一个
Thank you for your question, which is a very important one
也非常切中要害
and most relevant one.
您刚才讲到了一个均等化
Well, you talked about equal access to public services and also some weak links.
非常关注的点
Well, these are indeed
我们谈公共文化服务
a
建
focus
设
of our attention
有
in
3个关
a
键
cultural
词
work. We have 3 key
一个叫基
words
本
in
一
public
个是
cultural
标准
service.
化
First is the basic,
一个
and
是
second
均等
is
化
standardized, and
基本
third,
就是
equal
咱们立
access.
足基
But
本
first,
国情
a basic, that is in light of the
标准化
basic
均等化
national reality
就
of
是要
China.
解决
And the
不平衡不
second and
充
third
分的问题
keywords
那
are
么
meant to
3个关
address
键词呢 它的
the
着眼
challenges of
点都
inequality
是补短
and
板
poor
促
services.
平衡
So all
补
3
短板促平衡那么
are
打通最后
important,
1
and
公
we
里
need to strengthen the
也
weak
是我
links
们
and
近
address
年来公共文化
the
工
last
作
mile
重中
challenge,
之
so to
重
speak, that is the removing
在
the
这方面
remaining
呢我们现
obstacles.
在正在采取一系列的措施
The
来
Ministry
着
of
力
Culture
解决
has
这个问题
taken a
具
whole
体的
range
措
of
施概括起来
steps
说
to address
我
these
们把它
problems
概括成4个有
to ensure that
有什么
we
呢
must have
有标准
first
有
standards,
网络
and then
有内容
network, and
有
then
人
rich
才
contents, and lastly
标准我们制定了国
talented
家基本
professionals.
公共文化
First,
服务
on
的指导
standards,
标准
we
大
have
家
set
注意
up
这里就用
the
了一个词
guiding
基本
standards
公共文化服
for
务
basic
有标
public
准
cultural services.
那么这个标准呢对城乡基层群众可以免费享受
Under
的
this guiding
文化服务的
standards,
内容和
we
数量
have spelled
都
out
做了具
the
体的规
size
定
and coverage
那么
of
现在各个
basic
地方呢还在
cultural
做一个
services
实
for
施标准
primary level communities.
我们在推动各个地方
And
把
different
这些
local
标准
governments
逐
are
一落
working
实
on
变
implementation
成群众
plans.
实实在在的
And
生
we
活
will follow on this
文化生活
implementation to ensure that
除
our
了有
people
标准
can
就需要有
have
网
access
络
to these
使
basic
服务可
cultural
以通达
services.
各地
And then we
通
should
达
have
基层
network so
为
that
此呢
the
我们
services
重点
can
启动了贫困地
reach
区
every
民族自
corner
治县
of the
还
primary
有边
level
境县的
communities.
村综合文化服务
This
中心
includes some
覆盖
programs
工程
for
就是各个
ethnic
村
autonomous
都要有
counties in
综合文化
poverty-stricken
服务中
areas
心
and
因此我们把它叫
frontier
做覆盖工程
counties
争
and
取实现
villages.
全覆盖还有
Our
流
aim
动
is to
文化
have
车工程
100
流动文化车
percentage, a
流动
percent
图书车
coverage
工
for
程
these
这些
areas.
项目同时
We
呢
also
还加
have
快了县级图
schemes
书馆
such as
文化
mobile
馆
cultural
总分馆
stations
制
and
建设
libraries.
文化馆图书馆的总分管制
And
建
we
设
are encouraging
推动
the
优
establishment
质
of
文化资
branches
源
of
向
county
基
level
层乡
libraries
村
and
延
cultural
伸
centers
向贫困地区
so
延
that
伸
the fine cultural
这是有
resources
网络
can reach the
第
primary
三要有
level
内容
communities in our
就刚才
rural
您也讲到在下面在文
areas
化
and
站
then
看
also
看不到东西
cover
那
the
怎么办
poverty-stricken
我们给它
areas.
充内容
Third, it is
文化事
important
业
that
跟
we
文化
have
产业的
rich
发展
contents of
极大
the
的丰富了
basic
文化共
services.
识
The
现
booming
在我们正在
cultural
运用多种
programs
手
and
段
industries
为基层
have
社区
further
提
enriched
供
the
日
supply
益
of
丰富的
public
公共
cultural
文化资
services.
源
We are
比如有
resorting
一项
to
大的
a
措
wide
施
range of
我们现在做
channels
数
to
字图书
provide
馆
diversified cultural resources for primary level
在相当
communities,
一部分县
including some digital cultural programs.
就可以
In
免
many
费
parts of the rural
分
areas,
享到国家图书馆提供
people
的
have
数字资
access
源。
to digital
就
library
目前这个资源
information
已经有多大的量
provided
呢？在县级图书馆，
at the
你可
county
以看
level
到我们
libraries.
国家图书馆的电子图书，
Any reader
现
in
在
the
已经达
county
到
level library
160多万册。
can have
在县级的
access
图书
to
馆，你就
over
可以看到我们国图的书
1.6 million
160
types
多万
of
册，期刊
books
1000多种，报
and
纸
1,000
600多种，
periodicals,
还有公开课
over 600
1500多
newspapers,
节，
and
1500
over
堂公开课
1,500
都可以在县级图书
public
馆看到。
lectures
这是有内容。
stored at the national
第四
level
要
libraries.
有人才，
And fourth, we need to have some professionals.
靠人才来建设基层公共文化。那么我们建公共文化队伍一个基本方针是专兼
Our
职
basic
结合，
principle is to have
着
both
力建设
full-time
专
and
兼职结
part-time
合的基层文
professionals
化队伍。同
at
时
the
呢，
primary
我们
level
这几年
communities.
先后选派了8万多名优秀
Over
的
the
文化
last
工作
2
者
years, we have
到边远的
sent
贫困地区、
over
边疆民族地区
20,000
和革命老区帮助工作。
professionals to help
还
with
实
the
施了
cultural
村
work
语工
in
程、
frontier areas
大
and
地
poverty-stricken
情深、
areas.
阳光
We have
工程
also
这么一些项目，
carried out
做什
some
么呢？
campaigns
组织
to
大批
send
的文化志
a
愿者
large number of
到
cultural
农村
volunteers
和边远地
to
区开
rural
展
areas
志愿服务，
and frontier
每
areas.
年都有数十万志愿者在文化战线工作。
And every year,
我们在做好这些工作的
hundreds
同
of
时，
thousands of
还有一件
cultural
事
volunteers
努力地
are
提高
involved in
服务
these
效能。
campaigns. And at the
就是
same
让人
time,
民
we are
群
also
众能够享受到
working
公共
on
文化服务，
more
并
efficient
且呢，
cultural
还要有更多
services
更实在的获得感。
so
我就
that
简要地回答。
the rising expectation of our people can be better met.
第四排那位，对 ，NBC，OK。要，主要。
哎，谢谢，我是美国全国广播公司记者 ，NBC News Television Network. According to the latest survey of the Pew Research Center, China and the United States are almost neck to neck in global popularity, and it is seen as an improvement of China's global image. Were you surprised by the result? Some critics say China is because investing heavily to develop its soft power, spending billions to extend its global media influence. Is that true? What can we expect from the 19th Party Congress in terms of China reinforcing its soft power competition with the U.S.? Thank you.
我是美国全国广播公司的记者。根据 PU 研究中心的一项调查呢，中美在全球的受欢迎程度不相上下，这被视为中国全球形象的提升。您是否对这一结果感到惊讶？一些人认为呢，这是因为中国一直在大力的投资提升自己的软实力，而且花费了数十亿来扩大自己在全球媒体的影响力，这是否属实？请问我们对此次党代会在加强中美软实力竞争方面可以有何期待？谢谢。
谢谢你对中国对外形象的高度关注。
Well, thank you for your interest in China's international profile. Yes, we have noticed that recently several international research institutes have released their findings.
表明啊，中国的国际整体的影响力
showing
在不断提升。
the growing international influence of China and growing attention and interest to China. And China's image or profile as a whole is also improving. I think these impressions are objective.
我们面对复杂的国际形势，特别是国际金融。
Well, in face of the complex international situation, especially in the aftermath of the international financial crisis,
符合中国国情的。
Well, China has been exploring a development path that suits China's national reality. To be specific, we have ensured steady and healthy development of our economy. We have achieved progress in every aspect of society and also improved the lives of our people. So this is indeed a Chinese miracle. At the same time, China has fulfilled its responsibility as a major country. To be specific, we have put forth major initiatives such as the Belt and Road and a community of shared future. China is not only the largest contributor to global economic growth, but also a big contributor to global response to global challenges such as climate change, cybersecurity, public health, and poverty alleviation. Third, China has been actively promoting cultural and people-to-people exchanges with other countries. We are exploring closer cooperation, media cooperation with other countries, and developing cultural services and trade. We are encouraging the Chinese culture to extend its outreach, to tell well China's stories, and to promote mutual understanding and greater affinity through exchanges and cooperation. In this way, China has demonstrated its image as a friend to other countries. As a result, the vibrancy of China's system, the significance of China's input, the cultural appeal of China's philosophies have won greater understanding and appreciation from a growing number of people around the world. So we do believe that China have a bright prospects in its development. In this process, we have always followed the principle of peaceful development and mutually beneficial cooperation. We will work with the United States and, for that matter, other countries around the world to foster a new type of international relationship featuring mutual respect, equity, and win-win cooperation. We will promote greater exchanges and mutual learning and harmonious coexistence of different civilizations. We will respect the diversity of cultures and work for a community of shared future and a brighter future for mankind.
Thank you for questioning. I'm Chief Editor of NLD, Myanmar T-Wave channel. Yes, my question is, I have noticed that one of the speakers from the Office of National Steering Committee for Ethical and Cultural Progress. In our country, there is not similar institution. Could you provide more information about the institution? What role does it play in China's development? Thank you.
您好，我是缅甸民主浪潮的主编。我的问题是，今天在主席台上看到了中央文明办的负责人，那么在我们的国家呢，没有这样一个类似的机构。我想知道这是一个什么样的部门呢？它在中国的发展当中扮演了什么样的角色？谢谢。
谢谢您的关注，您的问题。
Thank you for your attention. You have raised a very valuable question.
其实是提示我们以后要加大对中央文明办工作的宣介。
It has made us realize that we need to do more publicity to our department. I'm from the Office of the National Steering Committee for Cultural and Ethical Progress, founded in 1997. It is responsible for organizing, coordinating, and promoting ethical and cultural progress in China, and it works with an interagency with the Publicity Department of the CPC Central Committee.
中国从上世纪70年代末、80年代初实行改革开放政策以来，
reform and opening up in late 1970s and early 1980s, the Communist Party of China has put forward with great vision that while promoting socialist material well-being, it is necessary to make socialist cultural and ethical progress. The strategy of enhancing both aspects has been established. This strategy stresses that only if achievements are made in both aspects is it the real socialism with Chinese characteristics. Since the 18th CPC National Congress, the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping as the core has attached great importance to making cultural and ethical progress. He has pointed out that only if we make progress in both aspects, see achievements on both fronts of China's development and improve both the material life and cultural and ethical standards, can the cause of socialism with Chinese characteristics be pushed forward successfully? Since reform and opening up, especially since the 18th CPC National Congress, an important reason why China has been experiencing historic changes and making historic achievements is that we have unswervingly followed through on this important strategy of making progress on both fronts. This year marks the 20th anniversary of the establishment of our department. Over the past 2 decades, our department has followed through on this strategic deployment of the CPC Central Committee with intellectual and moral development as the core, focused on cultivation of new characters of the times, and kept making explorations and innovations in promoting cultural and ethical progress. I have cited some examples of our work. For example, we have promoted the campaigns to promote civility and etiquette in cities, villages, organizations, households, and campuses. And this is a very well-known campaign across China. Another example, we have promoted the publicity of role models and paragons to encourage the people to follow their examples. These measures have played an important role to raise people's etiquette as well as social civility, advance the well-rounded development of the people, and the comprehensive social progress. Thank you again for your attention.
好，谢谢。第3排那位男士吧。
谢谢郭主任，我是北京周报及中国与非洲杂志社记者。近年来，中国的电影事业蓬勃发展，以《战狼2》为代表的一批优秀国产电影，无论是在票房上，还是在那个观众的口碑上，都取得了骄人的成绩。我的问题是，在这5年里，相关部门具体采取了哪些措施，以保证电影事业在繁荣发展的同时，发挥传播社会主义核心价值的积极作用？在未来还有哪些新的举措？谢谢。
China's film industry has been booming in recent years. A large number of Chinese films, like Wolf Warriors 2, are highly successful in both ticket sales and viewers' opinion. Could you please tell us what measures have been taken over the past 5 years to ensure that the booming film industry helps to spread socialist core values, and what more will be done in the future? Thank you.
非常感谢您提出的这个问题。
Thank you for raising this question.
我的工作也直接关联。
It has
党的18大以来
direct connection to my work.
以习近平同志为核
Since
心
the
的党中
18th
央
National
高度
Congress,
重视
the CPC Central
文艺
Committee,
工作，
with Comrade Xi Jinping
特别
as
是
the core, has
习近平
attached
总
great
书记
importance to the culture
在
and
全国文艺
artwork.
工作座谈会
In
上的重要
particular,
讲话
the
发表以
important
来，
speech made by General
给
Secretary
电影
Xi
工作
at
提
the
供了
seminar on the
重要
culture
的
and
遵循，
artwork, has
指明了方
provided
向
the
的道路，
fundamental guidance and charted the course
激发形
for
成
the
了
film work.
全国电影界
Therefore,
热情高
people
涨、
across the industry
奋发
have been
努
highly
力、
motivated
砥
to
砺前
work
行、
even
硕果累
harder.
累的发展格局。5年来，中国电影的发展
Over
成
the
就
past 5 years,
全球瞩目。
China's film industry has
具体
made
体现
remarkable
在
achievements.
像《智取威虎山》、
For example, a number
湄公河
of
行动、
excellent films like The Taking of Tiger
狼图
Mountain,
腾、
Operation
《西
Mekong,
游记之
Wolf
大圣归
Totem,
来》、《战狼2》等一批
The
三线
Return
统
of
一、
Monkey King,
2个
Wolf
效益最
Warriors
佳的
2
优秀作品不断涌现。
have emerged.
那么，在发展数据和发展指标上，
And let me cite some
也能够形成
statistics.
一串非常鲜明
We
的
have
对照
seen。a very remarkable progress made
2012年，
in every aspect of
我
the
们
film
电影的
industry.
创投主体有500家。
In 2012, the number of venture capital
我们
investors in
中
this
国电影
industry
的
was
创
500,
作投资生产主体已经突破了2000家。
but now the figure rose to more than
2012
2,000.
年，中国的电影票房
In
只有
2012,
170亿。
the ticket sales was
2016
only
年底，我们的票
17 billion
房
yuan,
达到了
but the number
492亿。
rose to
今年在去年的基础上，
49.2 billion
又
yuan at the end
实
of
现了
last year,
2位
and
数的上
it
升。
even had a double-digit rise
我们的
rise
城市
this
影院银
year.
幕数，2012年
In
有
2012,
1.3万块，
the number of cinema screens
截止到
was
今天，
13,000,
我们的
but
城
now
市影院
the
银幕
number
数达到了4
has increased
9,000块，
to almost
实现了
49,000 in cities,
270%的
up
增
by
幅。
as much as 270%.
2012年，我们城市影院的观影人次4.66亿。截止到
In
去年年底，我
2012,
们的观影人
cinema
次
admissions
达到了
was
13.72亿，
466
增
million
幅达到了
and rose to
194%。
1.372 billion
今
last
年
year,
截止到现在，我们的观影人次
an increase of
已经和去年的
194%.
全年的观影人次
And
持
the
平。
total cinema admissions
2012
by now
年
is equivalent
中国
to
电影
the
票
admissions
房
of the
占
past
据
year as
市
a whole
场
year.
总量的48%。2015年，
The market share of
国产电影
homegrown
占据
films
了
was 48% in 2012 and rose to 62% in 2015,
2016年占据了
and it was still kept
58.33%。
at over 58% in
这一组数据
2016.
可以说明，从发展指标、
These
发展速度、
statistics
发
can
展规
show
模
that
和发展速度
China's
上，
film industry has been making great strides in
已经
terms
成
of
为
the scale, size,
民
and
族
market
电影
shares
文
of
化
the film
占
industry,
据主
and
导地
we
位
have
的世界
seen
第2大电影市场。
China become the world's second largest film
5年
market
以
with
来啊，
homegrown
电影之所以取
films
得
taking
如
the
此繁荣发展的
majority.
局面，
The prosperity
与
in
以
the
下的
film
经验是分不
industry
开的。
is attributable to the
一
following
是我们坚
practices.
持以
First,
人民为中心的创作
We
导
have
向，
taken a people-centered
大
direction
力
of
弘扬社会
production,
主义核心价值
carried
观，
forward
讲好
socialist
中
core
国故
values,
事，以
and
抓质量
focused on telling a
上
good
水
story of
平
China.
推动电影的
We have
供给侧改
concentrated
革，
on quality,
提高
promoted
国产电影的核心竞争
supply
力。
side structural reform to improve the core
二是深
competitiveness
化
of the
电影
film
的体制
productions.
机制改革，
Second, we have deepened
不
reform
断
of the
调
film
动
industry
社会性力量，
and
参与电
mobilized
影
the
的发
social
展，
forces to take part in the
形成了
development of this
多种
industry
经济成分、多种所有制
so
和
that
多种社会力量
multiple
共
market
同参与
forces
中国电影发展
and
的
ownerships
新型局面。
all take part in the
三是我
development
们
of the
坚持
film
创
industry.
新驱动，
Third, we have promoted
创作上，
innovation-driven
我们
development
不断开拓电影
and
的题
explored
材、
new
题材
themes,
类
types,
型，
genres,
样
and
式，
forms of films.
让更多的优秀作品
We
和
have
创
ensured
新型
that
作品
the
占据
market
电影的
is
市场
mainly
主体。
filled with fine works.
在人才培养上，
We
我
have
们打
broken
破
up
传统的
traditional models
式
of personnel
多层
cultivation
次、多 形式助推
so that the young generation will take greater responsibility in the development of China's film industry. For 3 consecutive years, the production of young filmmakers have taken up over 60% of the total number of homegrown films. Fourth, we have persisted in opening up and strengthened international cooperation. We have signed agreements for film co-production with over 20 countries. China's cooperation with the United States and Central Asian countries have been booming, so competition in opening up and win-win results through cooperation have become major features in the international cooperation of China's film industry. The important progress that we have made since the CPC's 18th National Congress has reflected and proved our confidence in Chinese culture. General Secretary Xi Jinping has charted the new course for promoting the development of the film industry and contributing to cultural prosperity. We will enhance our work in 3 aspects. First, we will promote good tastes and cultivate elegance and responsibility in the cultural and artistic, and resist vulgarity and kitsch. Second, we will emphasize realisticalism in film production and encourage more attention paid to the society and other people, and we will also encourage originality in the production of film works. Third, we will strengthen and enlarge China's film industry and film market so that China will develop from a major country to a strong country in the film industry. Thank you.
谢谢主持人。韩国经商新闻社记者提问：中国最近发布了外商投资企业知识产权保护行动方案，像电视剧、出版等文化内容产业有保护知识产权的措施吗？能否介绍具体情况？另外，因萨德等矛盾摩擦之后，中韩之间的文化产业合作也产生了障碍。19大之后，能否可以期待双方的积极的交流呢？谢谢。
With Xinjiang News, recently China released its action plan of IPR protection for foreign businesses. Do you have specific measures to protect IPR in the cultural field, including TV series? Another question. Cultural exchanges between China and the ROK have encountered difficulties as a result of the 2 countries' differences over THAAD. Will there be positive changes in the situation after the 19th National Congress? Do you have any plan to promote cultural exchanges between China and other countries, including the ROK? Thank you.
您这是2个问题。
You have raised actually 2 questions. I will address your first question
我不知道
firstly.
你有没有注意到，在中国的媒体报道中，有一个概念叫“剑网行动”。
There is a concept in media coverage of China, the Jianwang campaign.
总局联合网信办、工
In
信部、公安
2000,
部等
since
各个部门
2005, the State Administration
开
of
展了
Press Publication,
打
Radio,
击
Film
网
and
络侵权
Television
盗版的
cooperated with the
专项
Cyber
行动。
Administration of China, Ministry
这
of
个行动
Industry
的
and
名称就叫
Information, Ministry of
剑网
Public
行动。
Security, launched a campaign
剑网行动
to
包
fight
括
copyright infringement and
查
piracy,
处
and it is
网
called
络
Jianwang
侵权盗
campaign.
版案件，
Through investigation
整治
into
重点领
the
域的版权
infringement
秩
and
序，
piracy cases, rectifying the
推
order
动
in the
相关
copyright field,
版权方面
and
合作
encouraging
等多
various
种措施，
parties to carry out copyright
保护
cooperation.
了
This campaign
包括
has greatly
外商企业在内
protected
的
the lawful rights
中外
and interests
知识产权
of
权利人的合
Chinese
法权
and
益，
foreign
有
right
效地规
holders,
范了
including
互
foreign
联网
invested
的版权
enterprises.
秩序。
As a result,
这一个行动得到了
this has improved the copyright order on the line and applauded by the Motion Picture Association of America, International Federation of Phonographic Industry, International Standardization Organization, and Publishers Association of the UK and the United States. In September this year, we launched a special campaign under the framework of the Jianwang campaign, with the focus on the protection of IPR of foreign invested enterprises in online video and audio programs, music, software, cartoons, and textbooks, as well as e-commerce, app stores, and other platforms' copyright. We have done a lot to protect the right and rectify the order. This campaign is still ongoing. I believe as it goes on, Chinese and foreign right holders will have their right better protected, and the order of copyright market will be more regulated. As for your second question, I'd like to say that on the just concluded Busan Film Festival, there were many personages from China's film festival, film industry. And because of my work, I have also noted that various kinds of cultural exchanges programs between China and the ROK have been are still ongoing. I'd like to emphasize that cultural exchanges are not ordinary trade in goods or commodities. They bear on the friendship between the peoples and their sentiments towards each other. So we often say that cultural exchanges are exchanges with warmth. This warmth comes from the friendship between the people and their sentiments for each other. With the friendship between the people and their heart-to-heart communication, cultural exchanges will surely develop in the positive direction. The depth and breadth of cultural exchanges depend on the warmth of their sentiments. I believe this question deserves our joint efforts and reflection. Thank you.
好，咱们继续提问。行，第三排那位女士吧。
谢谢主持人，我是新华社记者。这些年，文化产业蓬勃发展，不断丰富了人们的精神文化生活。党的19大报告对推动文化产业又提出了新的要求，请介绍一下当前文化产业的发展态势及下一步的工作打算。谢谢。
With Xinhua News Agency, the booming cultural industry has enriched the cultural life of the people, and the report of the 19th National Congress of the Party has raised a new requirement for the development of the cultural industry. Could you please give us a briefing on the situation of cultural development and any new initiatives in this area? Thank you.
Well, the development of cultural industries is an important element in the socialist cultural prosperity. It is also an important channel through which we can meet the growing expectation or aspiration for a better life. Just as General Secretary Xi mentioned in his report, it is also a major step through which we can promote the shift of growth model and economic restructuring. And over the years, we have given top priority to the development of cultural industries, and we have taken a wide range of steps. The value added of cultural industries has grown from 1.8 trillion in 2012 to nearly 3.1 trillion yuan in 2016. Its share in GDP grew from 3.48% in 2012 to the current 4.14%. So this is a result of our efforts to promote the development of cultural industries, but there is still room for improvement, and we will redouble our efforts. We will follow the requirement spelled out in the report at the 19th Party Congress. First, we will follow new development vision. And we will focus on the supply-side structural reform in the cultural sector to improve the quality of cultural supply and also make the supply more effective. And second, we need to adapt our services to new needs. Because our people have growing aspiration for a richer cultural life, so we need to explore new contents and ways of cultural development. We need to keep the creation, literary and artistic creation on the right track, improve cultural services, and at the same time we need to encourage healthy cultural spending and promote cultural prosperity. Third, we should foster new business models, because with the advancement of science and technology, people tend to have growing demands or needs for cultural products. We need to adapt to these changing aspirations. We can implement such strategies as Internet Plus and Culture Plus in fostering new types of cultural industries. In this way, we can strengthen the driving force for the development of cultural industries. Fourth, we need to explore new markets. An important aspect will be to establish a modern system for cultural industries and markets. We will explore new ways of production and management and encourage more private investment in cultural industries. We are already seeing some booming private investment, but we need to have some more. We will also encourage greater cultural trade and exchanges with foreign countries to find greater space for the development of cultural industries. And we need to steer domestic market while exploring international market. Thank you.
咱们继续提问。行，对，倒数第4排那位女士。
谢谢 Thank you. I'm Yolandi Martinez from Prensa Latina, Cuba. And I want to know in which way the Silk Road project have benefited the relations between China and other countries. And the second question is, does China have new proposals to promote cooperation in the field of culture and information with other countries involved in the Silk Road project? Thank you.
您好，我是古巴拉美通讯社的记者。我想问一下，中国的一带一路计划如何能够加强中国和其他国家之间的文化联系？中国有什么样的新的计划来进一步促进其与沿线国家在文化和信息领域的合作？谢谢。
非常感谢这位记者提了一个非常重要的问题。
Oh, thank you very much for raising this important question. I will answer this question. Well, first I want to make it clear that the Belt and Road Initiative is not only about economic and trade ties, but also about cultural ties. So our joint endeavor on this Belt and Road Initiative not only have implications for business ties, but also will bring new opportunities for cultural ties between China and countries along the road. It will further promote mutual understanding and affinity between the Chinese people and people of countries along the road. It will also encourage greater cultural exchanges and cooperation. We have statistics showing that to date we have signed over 300 intergovernmental cultural exchange and cooperation agreements, as well as some implementation plans under the framework of the Belt and Road Initiative. That is bilateral intergovernmental documents. And also we have set up some multilateral cooperation mechanisms, including between China and Shanghai Cooperation Organization, with Central and Eastern European countries, with Arab countries, and so on. To facilitate future work in this regard, the Ministry of Culture has drawn up an action plan for cultural development within the framework of Belt and Road Initiative, covering the period between 2016 to 2020. Well, in this action plan, we will focus our cooperation on three aspects. First, on culture and art. We have already put in place an alliance of international theaters and museums. And on that basis, we will work further on the alliances of art festivals, libraries, and art galleries. We hope that we can have a closer bond of cooperation. We will provide opportunities for sinologists and young scholars to come to China for interactions with their Chinese counterparts. And we will also encourage greater efforts to interpret literary works by writers from countries along the road. And also we will promote Chinese literary artworks in the reverse direction. And in recent years, we have hosted regular exchanges and training programs for sinologists and young scholars. Well, this is a joint endeavor between our ministry and other Chinese government agencies, like the State Administration of Press, Publication, Radio, Film, and Television. And this way, we can have more efforts to interpret and promote our literary artwork in both directions. And then our cooperation will also focus on cultural trade. We will encourage two-way investment in the cultural industries and encourage more cooperation on animation, game, culture, and expo industries. We see great prospects in such cooperation. Thirdly, our cooperation will focus on the protection of cultural relics. Countries along the route of Belt and Road have rich resources in terms of cultural relics. We have joint archaeological projects with 15 countries. And we are running exhibitions in 20 countries along the road. And the number is still climbing. We will continue to work even closely with those countries on cultural development. So thank you for your question again.
好吧，好，这回，行啊，那位女士吧，穿蓝衣服的，对，一直在举手，是的，嗯。
谢谢。香港大公文汇传媒集团记者提问，就请问在推进社会主义核心价值观融入到法治建设过程中，做了哪些工作，然后取得了什么样的成效？谢谢。
With Taekwondo of Hong Kong, what has been done and what progress has been made in integrating socialist core values with the building of the rule of law? Thank you.
这是一个很有针对性的问题。
You have raised a very relevant question.
思想道德建设的一个
Since
突
the
出方面，
18th CPC National
更好地
Congress,
发挥
a prominent aspect of intellectual and moral development has been the rule of law and rule of virtue are made more complementary with and reinforcing to each other.
这是强化道德建设的重要。
This is an important measure to strengthen development of morality and the rule of
法
law.
治建设的重要举措，就是要使
So
法
that
治建设
rule of
和
law
道德
and
建
the
设
rule of
在
virtue
价值取向和价值
will
导
share
向
the
上
value and the
相向而
direction,
要使法律规范
and so
和
that
道德规
laws,
范
norms,
遵循同样的
regulations, and morality follow the
道德
same
标准
standards.
特别是价值观的标准。有了社会主义核心价值观的
With
指
the
引，
guidance of socialist core values,
法治的立法
legislation, law enforcement, judiciary,
手法
and law
方面
abiding
就有了
have
明
now
确
a
一致
clear and
价值观
consistent
标准，
foundation of
有了
values.
法律法规的支撑，
With the
道德
support
建设
of laws and
比较
regulations,
软性的建设
moral development
就获得了强有力的制度性。
has developed a strong
说
institutional
老实话，这项工
guarantee.
作不太容易做，
To be frank,
特别是要
this
落到
task
实
is
处
not
有
easy,
相当的难度。
and there is great difficulty to enforce
去年
this
12月
task.
中共中央办公厅
Last
立院
December,
办公
the
厅
general
专门
offices of
出
the
台
CPC
下
Central
发了一
Committee
个
and the State
制度
Council
性的文件
issued
叫做关于进
the
一步把
guiding
社会主义
opinions on integrating socialist core values into the development of rule of law. I'm sure you have
这
paid
个文件
attention
呢
to
对
this
相关的工作
document
做了非常
as it
重要的
has
非
made
常详细
important
的
and detailed arrangement
有
in
兴趣的
this
话，我可以
regard.
请大家仔细
I
的
would like to refer you to that document if you
在
have
实践当中呢
interest.
相关工作也得到了有
In
力
practice, relevant work has also been promoted in an effective and orderly
把
way.
子女
For
常
example,
回家看
the
看这样一
requirement
个
that
以前纯
adult
粹
sons
是
and
道德要
daughters
求的道德规
visit
范
their elderly
正
parents
式使用法
regularly has
在以
been
前是
included
好像
into a
不
law.
太容易做得到的。
Previously, it
再
was
比
just
如
a moral
对
requirement.
见义勇为者
Another example,
的权益做出明确的
clear
司法解
judicial
释
interpretation
而
has
且出台
been
了
made to protect the rights and interests of those who rise gallantly to the
再比
occasion.
如，大家社会关注度很高的，
Still,
对一些
a
企
point
业
of
和个
public
人，
interest,
也就是所谓的失信者，
the
我们发
blacklist
布的
of dishonest
黑名单
enterprises and
对一
individuals
些老赖啊，这是一个特殊的用词，
is required to be released
一个特殊的用词，
to
对
put
一些老赖的
restrictions
行为
on their
要
traveling
做出约束，比如
and
说
other
高消费
behaviors, including
比如说他乘坐
luxury
高铁
consumption
乘坐飞
and
机
taking high-speed rail or
它
planes.
是类似的消费是要受到这些行为要受到限制。
They will face
通过
restrictions
用这些法律
in
手
doing
段
so
来治理
as a way to
失信、失范行为
punish those behaviors
非常显著
with
的效果。
legal means, and
那么在
this
群众
has
性的建设
really
文明
been
倡议
very
活动当中
effective.
也十分注重强化
The
法律
initiatives to
保
improve
障
public
执法作用
etiquette and
保卫
ethical
大家具体
standards
利益
also emphasize the supporting role of laws
前
and
段时间出台的
regulations.
国歌法
For example, the law on
就是
national
引进国
anthem
歌
has been enacted
可依
not long before,
出台了志愿
so
服务
that there is a
条例
law to follow in paying tribute to the
各类
national anthem.
学雷锋
Regulations on
志愿
volunteer
服务活动
services
这类
have
以
been
前纯粹
introduced
是道德活动得到了法律保障。
so that
再比如
volunteer
新修订的广告法
services
把公益广告
have been legally
有明确
protected.
地
Still,
写入
the newly amended law on
在
advertisement
地
has
方
given
特别是
clear
在基层
provisions on public
群
service
众性的
announcement.
精神文明创建
Many local governments have
各地也
introduced
出台了很多
regulations on
有
civility
效的规章制度的规
and
范
introduced effective
在
regulations
公共场合的
to regulate the behaviors of citizens
这
in
些举措
public.
可以说对使社会主义核心价值观
These
落
measures
细落小
have greatly
落
paid
实
off in ensuring the
非常
real and effective
显著的作用。
implementation
谢谢
of
您。
socialist core values. Thank you.
好，今天记者招待会
This
到
is
此
the
结
end
束
of today's
谢谢
press
大家
conference.
今天
Thank
下午
you.
和晚上还
And
有
there
两
will
场
be
集体
two
采访
group
欢迎大
interviews
家
this
参加，谢
afternoon
谢。
and evening. You are welcome to attend. Thank you.
And there we have it, the second press conference from the 19th CPC Congress. Plenty to talk about there, talking about the scale of cultural reform that's taking place in China. So many points we could sum up there, talking about the role that TV has to play, films, the books as well, libraries, and brands. Some very interesting points about the importance of the China brand around the world, all contributing to what Xia Weidong referred to as the Chinese dream of great national rejuvenation. Well, China has not only made huge economic achievements in the past 5 years, but also it's seen rapid progress in cultural development. Many cultural events have emerged as platforms for artists to share their creative inspirations. The Wuzhen Theatre Festival is a case in point. The event aims to build a base for drama enthusiasts to indulge in art and exchange ideas.